everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa. On the mic today is my husband, John.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to our live, easy geometric abstract event. Do we have the painting today, John?
We do.
Show you what we're painting today. Oh, yeah, we can do that live now.
Bing!
Picture-in-picture live. Though I think we're in a weird adjustment for that. Are you noticing? We got to work on that adjustment.
We'll put it somewhere.
We got to put it more in the upper corner.
Yeah.
So John's going to figure that out and move that up in the upper corner. And so we'll have that while we're going on our live event. I have missed you guys. John's missed you guys. It's been a minute since we've been live.
Yeah.
So, we got some wishes to put on our canvas. We've got this fun, easy painting to do. I'm going to show you, if you're brand new here, welcome. If you just subscribed, welcome. We teach art here all week. And then other stuff. And we do it live sometimes and sometimes in pre-recorded lessons. But mostly the idea is that, very dearest to my heart, is that you can do this at home. So that's my whole goal, is I'm going to explain this in such a way that you can make this painting at home, even if you're just starting out on your painting journey. And I think this is a great painting to start out with.
Yeah, I agree.
Easy color palette. But guess what? I have something very important to say about the color palette.
What's that?
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. What I have to say about the color palette is I have just picked some colors because I like them. But guess what? Any combo of colors works for this technique.
Oh, yeah?
So this is one of those paintings, and please don't tell the other artists because I don't want the art police rolling up on my channel again. But you can actually just match this to your home.
Oh, yeah?
It's allowed.
You were matching some paint to the walls a minute ago.
Oh, yeah. We had a little accident. If you're wondering what took us going, I was trying to squeeze down some phthalo blue with my Gill tube ringer, and I overrung. And it just went everywhere. It's pretty bad on the back wall. It looks like we murdered a Smurf. This is a dead Smurf back there. So John today was giggling because it does look like a dead Smurf.
It does.
He is going to be reading comments and making sure that when you guys ask me stuff, materials that you're going to need besides acrylic paint and a 16 by 20 pre-gesso canvas. I really like a ruler because I don't really draw just a freehand straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And, like a watercolor pencil or a chalk pencil that will blend into your paint.
Mm-hmm.
And I just dropped the one I need.
Oh.
There it is.
Sherpa
down. I'm still here.
We have some good wishes coming in. We have a huge community. We got almost just 197 people, almost 200 people out here with us.
Wow, I missed everybody.
There's just over 200 people now. It just keeps building and building. I love seeing all you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We got some wishes to add on there.
Well, I've got 3 on here.
Yep.
So the first one I have is healing for Mona.
Oh, yes.
Because our own Mona just had something on and we want to send her healing energy. And Angela has asked for some very specific healing energy for her tummy. And then this one I just saw is I would like Will's wedding band to return home.
Oh, yeah.
I would very much like that. It went missing, and I would just like to show back up. So that's a wish I just saw actually in my Facebook feed and was like, I just personally wish that.
Yes.
I'm like, just totally kidnapped it. Do you have some wishes for me, John?
I do. So let's see here, for Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
She has a wish for her multiple sclerosis flare-up to end. She's watching us right now in the Getting Well place on some IV treatment. So
I understand that. We've had friends that suffered with that. Do we get that?
And we're going to put another wish in there for Christy. She's feeling a little worried about. Well, she's feeling very worried. She has cancer and surgery coming up. And she's terrified out of her mind, and
we're going to wish for a positive outcome for Christy, and also a feeling of well-being and courage.
Yeah, and
because it's rough enough to go through being ill, and then to also add to that feeling scared is just the worst.
And don't feel bad for asking for help. That's what we're here for. That's what everybody's. Everyone wants to help. So don't worry about that. That's totally an okay thing to do.
And add some hearts to that.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you for catching those wishes. And I know there's a lot more out there. And I know that all of our light keepers are catching those and getting them in there. It's such a huge crowd of people here. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining us today. Really appreciate it.
We really do.
Yeah.
Really do. We just turn on the cameras and hope somebody shows up. So it's always so nice y'all come over. So nice. And we appreciate it a bunch.
I do.
We have easy materials today.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you what they are if you want to follow along with me. But, you know, hey, you could do different colors at home, and I'm not going to come to your house and be like, you didn't follow my lesson. You got to be yourself. This is your art.
Mm-hmm.
Put yourself in it. It's completely okay, but if you want exactly this result, I'll show you how I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I use the colors Phthalo Green, Phthalo Blue, which we've now determined is Smurf Blood and Guts color, Cadmium Yellow Hue, that's the medium hue, Quinacridone Magenta, and Titanium White. And depending on how much my canvas fights me today, possibly some gloss medium gel, I have a ruler and my watercolor pencil so I can put in my geometric lines.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Do we have the picture for them?
We do.
All right. So here's what I'm going to say. And this is going to be a little bit, my ruler is just slightly not as long as my canvas. Here's the good news. On this particular project is you do not have to be great at, you know, straight lines at all.
Mm-hmm.
Rulers are completely allowed. So I did one straight across. I'm going to do one down. I'm just, you know what I just generally do is I just generally make some random crisscross lines. I try to make sure that I don't make crazy small spaces, right? Because that will mess me up.
Yeah.
I'm going to do another one across here. I try to make sure that they don't all go the same direction. See, I've got a bunch going at the diagonal towards the left.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to maybe make one come up here to intersect with that.
Okay.
That seems sort of fun to me.
Let's see if I can get that.
See how that goes? See, I'm just using my ruler because if I tried to freehand this, this would be a very organic geometric abstract. Geometric abstracts are a lot of fun. A lot of artists have really explored this subject matter in the fine art world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always fun at the museum to go visit,
Yep.
to see what they have done. And then you say to yourself, Calder, really? Millions and millions of dollars? But yes, totally. And so something to think about in abstracts. A lot of times abstracts mess with new artists because they're like, they're simple.
Mm-hmm.
Except they're not. But they look simple. Except they're not. Abstract, I was explaining this to John earlier today, is like, it's like what looks like a puddle. You're looking at on the string, and abstract looks like a puddle that's about that deep. And then you go step in it, and you fall into a bottomless, endless pit of stuff. It's some deep, deep water. But you can dip your toe in with something like a geometric abstract. The bigger you go with this, the more bold and dynamic it will look.
I see.
Isn't that fun?
Yes.
I'm going to do another line down here, going across, just, you know, cuz.
Just cuz.
Just cuz. What you're looking for is you want a nice mishmash of interesting shapes, right? So that it gives you some drama, right? You don't want to create something that's too... You're either going to have to make everything super perfect, like you measure out every 2 inches and make sort of a repeating geometric pattern, or you want to have a random geometric pattern. If you're not a highly technical person, you don't have a T-square and a triangle, I recommend the random geometric pattern for your success.
Oh, 222 people. So on that, I'm going to say, hey, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and hanging out. Don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe button and share it with your friends. The little cool arrowy button that says share.
And I really want to, while you're sharing it with your friends, I really want to challenge you to, you know, definitely go ahead and paint this in the colors I'm painting it, but also sit there and look around your life and your house and think to yourself, what colors would I like this in? If you've been painting with me for a while, you probably have some colors you really enjoy. And I'm going to tell you the tricks to make this successful no matter what your colors are. So that's my thing. Today, I'm going to be doing some kind of different. I'm going to be testing a couple brushes that you see here. I'm going to be testing this brush, which I'm going to say is about an 8 bright.
An 8.
You could use a 6 or a 10 and it would be fine for this project. And I've got this here and I'm going to say this is about a 12 flat.
Okay.
But you could also use a 10 bright or a 12 bright. You're going to just want a square brush that gives you a nice edge you have control over. And bear with me while I test out these brushes. I need to give them a hard look over, and I've been working them all week. Now I need to see how they perform live. Live performances are important. I'm going to start with my little center little object here.
Could you squeeze one thing in there for me?
Yeah.
Could you put a wish that all the wishes come true? Michelle really wanted to have that in there. And I just have to say that's a great wish. And worth squeezing in because, you know, it just acknowledges everybody. So, thanks there.
I like that a lot.
All right, on with the show.
And I'm going to test out this brush.
Okay.
Wish me luck on how that goes.
All right.
That's always fun. Let's test brushes live on a show. That'll be a good idea. Something I'm going to talk to you guys about is priming your brush or wetting or warming up your brush. I'm going to wet my brush, and then I'm going to take off the excess water. Now, a couple things I want to tell you about this. Why your experience at home might be slightly different than my experience here in my studio. Mm-hmm. This brush and all the brushes I am testing have very firm filaments, and they pull in water to a dampness place, but they don't suck up a lot of water like a watercolor brush.
Yeah.
So they're not dripping. So if your brush is soft, you may need to wipe it off on a towel to get the same effect. All I've got to do is just dip it in very carefully and just drag it across the lip to get the excess water off to prime it.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to, in this center thing here, create a nice light green. And to do that, I'm going to take my Happy Happy Phthalo green, see just here on the edge with this little bead, over to my yellow, and create that. I might even add, a little white to it. So you can see how that's all in that nice bead there?
Yeah. Now.
And I'm just going to very carefully, along my purple line, using the edge of my brush as sort of a straight space, I'm going to drag it along to get a nice crisp edge. See, I'm just dragging it along to follow the line that my ruler and pencil made. Look how nice that edge is.
Yeah.
That's good. Happy with that. We'll see, though. I'm not easily won over.
Now I noticed that the design that we have in the corner isn't really what we're going to be ending up with.
Well, there'll be some differences. Oh, I think you've got that flipped. I think it's just rotated. So what's wonderful about abstracts? I have the painting here, like this.
All right.
But you could do it like this.
I'll be
Or
back.
you could do it like this. And really, honestly, nobody gets to say boo about it.
I can
because it's your abstract.
All right. Let's see. We're live. We can do it.
You can do it live. And this is not, I'm not making technical. I'm not like that guy. You guys always love to share with me that guy that did all that forgery who's now famous because he forged so well.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow he was so talented that it went from jail to celebrity status. Anywho, we're not doing that. You could use, for this project, I'm using heavy-bodied acrylic paints. But guys, you could just use craft paint, right? Many, many of you have been having trouble with these canvases from a large national chain store, crafting store. I will tell you that I really firmly feel the fix for that is rinsing the canvas off first. It's not the texture of the canvas that's causing the grief at all. It is the coating, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, and it's so funny. We really saw it we got all these black canvases because they were on sale. Expect more of that going on. We got all these black canvases because it was on sale. And I noticed that those canvases don't have that problem at all.
Really?
Nope. And I'm like, arg. Now, I may have to put out some some liquid glazing medium just because my studio is hot and dry. You'll notice that sometimes I'm picking up yellow and sometimes I'm picking up more green. And that this square is very many different colors inside of it. It's not one even uniform color. It's very painterly inside. Now here's a trick when you're designing these, and I'm going to show you exactly how I design mine. But when you're working on this at home, if you're doing your own colors, whatever color you put here, right, you can't put in the squares that are touching it or you'll lose the shape. Like, so if you put a color here, then the next place you could put that color, this could be like right here. And each time you use this color, you could make it a little different if you wanted to. You just don't want them to touch or they'll disappear.
I think we fixed it.
Did we fix it? Excellent. Fixing it being a really, really loose thing because I hadn't even decided if it was a vertical or a horizontal yet. And that's what's wonderful about abstracts. I have a friend who's an incredible abstract artist. He's so good. I love everything he does. And his name's Mike, and when he comes to critiques, one of the things he likes to do is put it up and go, so here, and then he flips it. He's like, or here, and then he flips it, or here, because he hasn't made up his mind yet. And that is a delightful thing. But what we're looking for is color balance, design and shape and how the canvas is emotionally and physically pleasing. And so sometimes the direction it hangs is really fluid until you're done. I'm going to put this color again right here.
Okay, I've got a couple questions while you're doing
I
that.
have so many answers. I'm sure I've got a bunch of questions.
So, okay. One, I saw earlier, what is the difference between a flat and a bright?
Oh, it's interesting. All right, so I've got these here. I hope you can see. Or maybe I should do this on the up-close cam.
Okay, I can. Yeah.
See this right here?
Yeah. I got it.
The flat will be longer than the bright.
Okay, yeah, we see him.
Right? So if you're painting oils, very often you'll be inclined to like the Filbert the best because it's a beautiful soft brush, it does incredible blending, and it works with very soft-bodied things incredibly well. If you're doing soft-bodied paints, you may even find that you are a fan of the Filbert.
Now, Christy wants to know, can you use oil brushes for acrylics?
No. Well, I mean, if they've never been used for oils, yes.
Okay.
If they're brand new, pristine brushes, you do not want... Okay, so here, this is messed with people, right? You don't want oil in your brush. Murphy's oil soap and the Jack's cleaner.
Yes.
That's a completely different deal. It's linseed oil. It comes out. Yeah. It doesn't impact the acrylic negatively. Things like baby oil or mineral spirits or the products in oil paint will jack up your acrylic paint. In
your brushes.
Yeah. It just ruins... Well, it doesn't ruin them. It just ruins them for acrylic.
Yeah. So, okay. Now...
It's just something sometimes people don't know.
While you're painting, I know we keep going on things.
I think I'm going to do some green here.
All right, I'm on your green.
Yeah,
so,
I got real green on this particular piece. It was just... I was going all, it's the Hulk. So this is just about, having a nice, set of colors that I found pleasant. If you actually... I noticed that if you go through the last few paintings from the Buddha and the Lotus and on, you'll see I use these colors a lot.
Yeah.
These are colors that come up, and I was like, oh, look, it's in my abstract again. It's like I don't know any other colors.
Well, I have a good question for you to talk about while you're painting. But you got to keep filling in your
I'm going to keep filling in my squares because otherwise this will take forever.
Yeah.
You can make teeny tiny squares too if you feel very patient, and it's also beautiful. Those of you who are quilters, oh, dude, if you're a quilter, go to town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is your jam. Everything you've ever learned in quilting, you can apply to this canvas.
Yeah.
Get those squares out, get those fussy cuts out, make those shapes and paint it in. You'll be like, wait, I can paint a quilt? Yes. Yes, you can, and many famous artists have.
Christy's like, I'm all purple and blue.
There you go.
But okay, here's the good question.
Can't wait to see all the different colors. I'm going to add this. I'm going to add a green down here, but I think I might go more yellow in my green. So I'm going to, and I might even switch brushes. Let's test this sucker.
Okay. So while you're testing that, and definitely we want to see everybody's paintings shared up on there. But I have a question that I want to get to from Brenda.
Happy to answer Brenda's question.
So Brenda, she says, I know I give big art hugs to Brenda here. How do you get past the failure and the fear of failure? And, she's just sort of having a little trouble just articulating all of her feelings around that. But, she's really, wanting to... Do you have any suggestions for getting some confidence there while painting?
Dude, that's something... know that you share a set of feelings that all artists share, even at some level the grades, right? And that's something that you struggle with because we're really exposing ourselves when we're creative and we're putting ourselves out there. It's like public speaking. It's like singing in front of people. You are just really out there. And so that's just know, one, that those are reasonable feelings. And two, that this, unlike heart surgery, there is nobody's life on the line. I tank paintings all the time. I joke that it's every 10. I think I may have actually now cursed myself with that, but it's just every so often I'll be doing work and it just doesn't come together and I'm not getting it and the painting just sucks and sucks and sucks and sucks and sucks. And then how I get through that is I push through. We had a quest on creativity. If you guys aren't familiar with it, we had this thing, the big art quest, and it kind of covers these really big concepts in art. And we had one on creativity, and Lindsay and Angela Anderson and Chuck Carson and I just talked about like creative block and those things that happen to us. And then we have another quest on facing that fear. It's like a whole hour where we talk about that. And there's a bunch of strategies there to overcome it. Because how you might overcome fear could be different than how I overcome fear. I don't think there's a magic pill for that at all. But we talked about some good strategies that are actionable today to overcome it. And I think it's something that you can face and overcome, for sure.
Yeah. And
I'm going to put out some glaze, and my paint's skinning already. This is my golden glazing liquid. No, I'm not upset with the Grumbacher retarder at all. I still love that stuff, and I have a nice full tube. But what's nice about this is that it glazes and slows the drying time down on my paint, and now I'm really kind of into it. This is what's happened. I'm like, it does everything. I'm a 2-in-1 girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and
you discover something like that, and you're like, it's 2-in-1.
I know you feel really passionate about like talking about people with their fears and artist block and things, and so there's some questions out there. A lot of people are asking about artist block and how you address it. And I know that you've got some videos.
Yeah, it's the quest, the big art quest. I'm sure Lisa's going to throw up some links there. And again, those are actionable things, and we talk to other artists because here's the thing: like we all have different strategies for it. Again, you've got to take away, okay, this is something all artists go through. We all feel it. Nothing for me fixes it more than just painting, just dealing, you know what I mean? But then I've had a lot of paintings, and I'm really comfortable with the fact that, some days I suck. But that took time. That took, a lot of experience and practice. So I'm loading the edge here with the yellow. See there, it's not going all the way up. And I'm going to come up here and paint this in. So it's about knowing that there's a way out. I think that's the first thing, is to know you're not actually stuck. You may not know what your path or your key is out at this red hot second, but know there's one for everybody. There's so many different ways of doing it. Some people go get new art materials. Or they'll take up a new medium. Some people switch projects around. They switch around projects, and they have project lists. If you're in commercial art, you don't really have, a lot of us, you'll hear if we work commercial, are like, I don't really have any time for artist block because I got to make a painting. But what that really is that I have to work no matter what. So I have to paint through the uncomfortable feeling and just keep going, which means it's not that I didn't have a cruddy painting. It just means that I now have had to push through that painting.
Right.
All right, I'm going to rinse out my brush a little bit.
Okay, so back on to a couple more quick brush questions.
And I'm going to come and do some green and some blue. Okay. Sound good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We
have a lot of questions today.
So, Eugenia was saying that is there a way that you can suggest to clean brushes that may have been in oil?
Yes.
If you don't know.
Rubbing alcohol. Boy, it's going to be in my Christmas. You must have rubbing alcohol in your art studio. It is a must-have. It gets off dried acrylic paint. It gets paint out of brushes that you would swear are done forever. I mean, yeah, you can put them in a baking sheet and soak them in vinegar for a really, really long time. Or you can just put the bristles in the rubbing alcohol and be done with it. Or even that hand sanitizer. I like the 91%. I would use the 91% for that job, and I would soak them and then wash them with a brush cleaner and then soak them again. And I would do that 3 to 4 times to make sure all the residue was out of my brushes. Because I would hate for my paint to underbind because I didn't get them all the way clean.
Yeah.
But you should be able to get them back. Where your danger is if there's product up in the ferrule.
And natural bristles.
But like if you did something like, I was trying to shape my bristles and I used some like vegetable oil or baby oil or something, it should get that out. Or if you have a brush that seems really, really clean but might have been used for oils, it should do it. But if it's a really caked on, jacked up brush, no. So this is the green and blue together. And I'm going to get a little white out.
While you're painting that, I'm going to send a big congratulations out to Denise, who is about to have a granddaughter.
Congratulations, Denise.
She's going to have another little brush running around that she'll be able to teach to paint. And that should be fun.
That's awesome. So. I'm pulling out my white here, so just loading it to the tip. That's another thing, is keep that paint to the tip of the bristles, and if it starts getting up into here, either rinse it out or wipe it off. Though if you're a very green person, if you're very green-minded and you're about saving the earth, right? This is something sometimes people don't know. And acrylic paint, I would not call it green.
Yeah.
But when it's dry, it's very inert. And so if that's a concern you have on wastewater, instead of rinsing, wipe.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's dry, it's inert. Or that's what people smarter than me about paint told me. Because I'm not a chemist.
No?
No. But I
No?
trust the chemists I know, and that's what they said.
Okay.
So this is fine, too. For a flat, too, because most flats are wishy-washy. Flats can be really, really wishy-washy. They don't have enough strength to really push the paint around.
Yeah.
Because they're for blending and softer techniques.
Yeah.
This one's all right.
That one's all right.
Yeah, I'm still gonna. You know, you don't want to be like.
You're still working. That's like I think the second time you've used that one or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm just I'm working through it. All right, I'm gonna put some. Maybe this one will have some more green on it.
You pointed to a couple different corners, so I don't
Huh?
know. You pointed to two opposite corners.
Right
so-
here. I'm gonna go
okay.
here. Sorry. I'm going somewhere. Somewhere I go.
RoboCam cues are only good if you stay with them.
Just enjoying this. So you see how I'm just making sure I'm not touching colors that are the same against each other.
Yep.
That's the whole trick of this. You want to do this is a great if you have a lot of you guys have said, "Oh, I have a really big canvas. What can I do?" Any of these geometric projects, we might do another one that's more organic or circular, but any of these geometric projects are fantastic for big canvases. And I'm just trying to paint this in nice and smoothly, but I don't want the color to be uniform. Now, some people, they'll want it like straight up uniform. They'll want to tape their edges. If that's you, that's okay. I can't join you on that journey, but I appreciate where you're at. All right, I'm going to pull some blue out and some white, get this nice color, and come right here. I like that. This little triangle that these made and here are going to be the ones that give me grief.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I guess, that's what it always is. You've seen me do these before.
I have.
These are very commercial. Like if you're making a living as an artist, there's a series of jobs that you might take, like designing artwork for hospitals or for decorators or even furniture stores, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And abstracts are very popular in those places because they're neutral emotionally. And you can create very pleasant feeling without polarizing your audience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Though be prepared for like people who are not familiar with abstracts to have a lot of opinions on your abstract.
Melissa thinks this looks like a cool stained glass window.
Yeah, it really does have that feel to it. And there's a bunch of techniques like you can paint the whole canvas black and put thin painter's tape to make the lines, and then paint your squares and pull the painter's tape, and it will be like you have leading.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. It's a cool thing.
They're all like, ooh, do a stained glass window.
Oh, we can do a stained glass window. I love doing stained glass window. You want to do that?
That'd be cool.
That is a really fun painting technique. I'm not going to actually do stained glass. That cuts and you bleed, and I've done it, and I say no to that medium.
I have that cool clock that I did in stained glass.
There's so much blood in stained glass. No to that medium. And
I
to
did
those
not-
of you that do it, you are tougher than me. It's the artists that work in fire and the artists that work in stained glass.
Uh-huh.
They're a dark crew, man. Just like, dude.
Mm.
And you can always tell when somebody is because they're all taped up on their hands. They look like they've had a minute with a blender.
So, oh man, there's
Sorry,
a couple
feelings on that. I have feels.
There's some good questions coming in here.
All right.
Like so Janine, clearly who has been going to art school, is like she's got some throwing down
All right,
questions.
Janine,
But
throw down. What's your deal, girl?
Oh, we're gonna come back to that one first.
Oh, okay.
Because there's another question that's come up earlier that I missed.
I'm going to pull some yellow out, make some light ducky yellows. I'm going to pull some yellow and some white. I just want some ducky yellows. Because I do. This is a very hi-hat piece, which means it's very pastel.
Ian's like, do some neoplasticism.
Oh, no, Ian. But I see that you have been lately. I've noticed that the neoclassicism has been dripping into Ian's artwork on Facebook.
So,
I'm going to leave you to that, Ian. Been there, done that, not going back.
okay, so, okay, on the colors, that's what it was. This is
Ian's laughing right now because he's like, yeah.
there's just got so many questions coming up. I just don't want to miss them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's all it is.
Okay. I'm just being a big goof.
We'll mock Ian on his love for Ewoks later. How few colors can you do with this? 2 or 3? Could you get away with that?
Oh, dude, you know what? There's a math to this because you have sides. So you can do the number of colors that's your maximum sides, right? Because so like if you had a color here and you wouldn't want any of the colors to touch, you can have 2 colors be at the corners. So like if I was to say this piece, I could have 1, 2. I think it's got to be 3.
Yeah.
You can do it with 3. You have to have 3, I think, to get all the sides. But mathematicians tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 3. That's art math.
All right. Okay.
No
So,
art math.
Here's your Janine throwdown question.
No, I definitely have. I've got to sit down in my little studio on the floor with my little cookie going, wait, how many sides do I have? Maths. I hate them. All right, Janine.
She's like, hey, John, can we see Cinnamon paint some discordant colors that have been tinted or toned to have the same value? There's so much.
Am I doing your homework, Janine?
No, she says she's been doing that a lot, and they're a lot of fun.
They are. And this isn't a bad project for that either. This is not a bad project for that either.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Colleen's like, can we just see you paint on some glass?
Yeah, we'll be painting on some glass because we have to do gifts, right? We have to take all these
that's
art
right.
skills and then save money for the holidays, right?
We did some of that cool stuff last year.
Well, we painted on a leaf.
I mean...
And we did the hands.
We didn't record it, though.
That's
That was
right.
just like as gifts.
Yeah, no, I make a lot of gifts. I don't know about your budget, but my budget ends up getting spent on paint, so then I got to make everybody's Christmas gift with that paint I bought.
Mm-hmm.
With the paint I bought, I make the Christmas gift. With the paint I bought, I make the Christmas gift.
So Michaela's asking, do I need to go to art school to be a good artist?
No. Though if you can, if it's in your budget and you have the time and ability, I recommend it for the bubble. All right, here's my definitive thing on art school, and I'll probably say it later, and everybody can get me. I think art school is wonderful. It gets attacked a lot, but I think it's wonderful. It doesn't take your creativity away. It doesn't drain you. It does give you a bubble in which you can be about your craft, you know, for a period of time in a serious way.
Yeah.
It gives you a group of peers, though a mishmash group of peers. You may not like all your peers, but it does give you a group of art peers to bounce ideas off, and it does give you a wonderful percolating universe to exist in. And I highly recommend, in my opinion, the Savannah College of Art and Design. I am not sponsored. That's just a really strong opinion John knows that I have.
And can I add?
But some of the best artists that have ever lived on planet Earth never took a class and never went to art school. It is not necessary for success in art. It is not necessary for satisfaction in art. There's tons. It's not just YouTube has art. Google has art. Life has art. People are self-taught. It is okay. I've seen some people do some stuff. Have you seen like those memes going around Facebook when people are just like, I have a string and some charcoal.
Uh-huh.
And then like, art, thank you. Yeah. That's why we have it in the art bullying quest. That's education shaming. You don't need to be ashamed if you went to art school, and you don't need to be ashamed if you didn't. If you can, I would recommend it. It's a wonderful experience. But if you can't, you're fine. Don't stay up at night about it at all.
I agree.
Yeah, just
so yeah.
You know.
The only I'd like to add to that is one of the things I found both a benefit in art school and away from art school is immersing yourself in the conversation of art.
Now, John has to explain why he was in art school then.
That
he was dating me.
Yes.
And I was in class, and he figured out he could see me more.
If I went to art class.
He went to art class, and my professor, who gives no quarter to Reverend Tally, I went to Prairie View A&M.
Uh-huh.
Which, if those of you that know are like, what?
Yeah.
But I did. And I had a professor that I adored, Reverend Tally. And he would call John on the carpet all the time. He'd be like, Professor Cooney. He didn't let him just come in there and date me. He made him answer questions.
I had to work for that class.
He was supposed to be in high energy physics.
Harder.
I don't know what he was even doing, guys.
Well, it's my electives. But
I am going to get into my oranges. I'm going to take my yellow over to my quinacridone. I'll pull out a little bead and come over to my quin. You could also, if you don't have quin, you could use cad red here. So don't be panicked about this at all. right? And I'm going to come right here and use this lovely color. What was the question, John?
Oh no, I was saying that, being immersed in that conversation of
Yeah.
art, whether you're in the community of your school or your local community, your local art clubs, by being in that daily conversation of working with the materials and working with others who are working with those materials and talking with them and engaging with them, that's a huge valuable component. And
If you can have, but again, you can do it without. But
you
if you
find
can,
those anywhere.
Yeah.
That's the great thing.
If you're in Houston, man, join the Visual Art Alliance.
Yeah.
Join it. Really cool. Lots of free art education. They get private tours. They have the most incredible studio visits. It's insane what they actually do.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the scenes stuff. And nobody's pretentious, which I also really like. All right, so I'm going to pull a little white over here to my Quinn and just kind of make sure that these are not the same color.
So Gail, I was a high energy physics major right down the hall from the art department. So physics and art were in the same building, and so it was really nice. Worked out quite nice. I think.
I think the high energy physics professor was as interesting as my professor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dr. Judd.
He looked like he was a trip, man.
Dr. Judd was
He was
awesome.
He was a handsome man. He had a lot of girls following him.
Oh, he did.
Just.
And he wore poet shirts.
It was like James Earl Jones and Sean Connery got together. It was a thing.
Yeah, he was, and like the poet shirts that he could wear around. He had that deep
Very
voice, that
charismatic
baritone
guy.
voice that was just like he's awesome.
And
So-
he was a fan of the art department. He liked
was.
artists. He actually came to our Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and he came to all of the show openings and
Yeah.
stuff. So
He's into it.
we're all waxing philosophical here.
Okay, so this is not important to your art journey. And please don't. You don't have to leave some comment.
So when can Carol call herself an artist?
Now, right now, Carol, you're an artist. Bling.
The art fairies have dinged you
Yeah.
an artist.
If we have to get into the ring of who's qualified or worthy of the title artist, that's going to get rough quick, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Right? Because art is subjective, art's emotional, it's regional, it's contextual. People have different perceptions about it. If we got to all get in there and fight it out, and when that starts to happen, that's when fine artists start going, oh, well, that's just illustration. Or that's when illustration is going, well, it's just that modern junk. None of it's junk if it's taken seriously, it's constructed with heart, and it's meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
And that is
Alan
the
thinks-
hard thing that you'll wrestle with in art, but if you can hold that, you will be happier while others fall.
And Alan was like, so all this time he didn't know it just takes a ding to make, and it's not just from Cinnamon, by the way, it's from anyone. So like if
You ding yourself. This is so
others.
Kung
It's
Fu
okay.
Panda.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be juvenile. I'll tell you right now, this is Kung Fu Panda. Ding, you're all artists. But you didn't need me to say it. You were there all along. This is that journey. You know how like you watch a
Dun, dun,
spiritual movie and
dun.
you're all eat, pray, love, and it was in me all along? Seriously, it's in you all along. You were born with it. It's a divine right. Absolutely, for sure, it's a divine right. People you may not be okay with. They might have that divine right too, and you might be breathing in a bag over it, but they still have the right to create.
absolutely.
So many opportunities for spiritual growth that you don't want. So many. And sometimes people do art, that you may not like. But you don't have to like it. If you guys ever watched my Periscope, when I was doing Periscope, I went to Burning Bones Press. And I was there with my friend Matt Adams, who's a serious art collector and curator and has a gallery and is like all things art. And the people that were following were hearting different things I was showing them, and everything he liked was like one heart. Float. Like there was one polite person going, I don't really like that piece, but I want to be nice. Float. But that's what he loves, right? You guys, on the other hand, were like, sure, go.
How did you make that pink?
So what I'm doing is look at all this pigment that's on my brush. This quinacridone's on my brush, and I'm just picking up little bits of white and blending it right here.
Oh, is it magenta or something?
Yeah, it's the quinacridone magenta.
Ah.
Oh, my darling.
Everyone's like, wait, how'd you get that cool pink?
Yeah, that's how I got it. I started out with the quin, and now I'm just blending it in. And now what I have to do is walk away from that because the temptation is to keep messing with it. But while I have this cute pink, I'm going to see if I can get some cute purple. And take my, oh, too much phthalo. I'm going to take my phthalo over to my quinacridone and make a purple.
You're making some colors.
Making some colors. This is going to be challenging right here because it's smaller than it was before when I originally designed it. These will, you know, I'm liking this one, I think, better, but it also could be size and stiffness. I'm not going to tell you what it is, though.
Needs to adjust it.
You don't get to know.
Secrets.
Secrets? We have so many art secrets.
Actually, normally you don't.
Normally I don't, but right now I do.
You're all secrety now.
Well, you know, for me, my community is everything. The people who paint with me is everything, as it is for John.
Oh,
and it's a special group of people, and I got to make sure that no matter what, they're taken care of.
We're working on it.
Working on it. And you guys are like, that's obscure. What does that mean? You also don't get to know.
Stop looking behind the curtain.
Yeah. No curtain for you. All right, pulling this out. But how do you think about how this is going on and how this is performing?
I think I like the purpley purples.
Right, and I'm just going to keep adding white to this as I'm going down. Sometimes, and so what it'll be is, if you can see this, I don't know if the up-close camera's on that.
Yeah.
So I see a little orange that's going to gray and tone out my purple. I've got a little phthalo that's going to cool it. And right here I've got a little quinacridone. So as I'm brushing and this pigment wicks down the brush onto the canvas and I'm adding white, these will all change. Like a mood ring.
Cool.
And experience has taught me that's cool. So I'm going to leave it alone. See? It's just doing it right now. Pigment, see?
Mm-hmm.
Pigment out on there, and then it's painterly, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's so painterly. How'd you do it? And you'll be like, laziness is my friend. I love my laziness. Never underestimate the power of laziness. I'm in a weird mood today. Are y'all in a weird mood? I hope so. Got some cool stuff coming for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
John's acting like he's not here filming with me all the time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's like, no.
I know nothing.
John knows nothing.
Although I have to say, I've been doing a little editing, and there's some cool things.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things.
So
I'm not
many
allowed to
cool
talk
things.
about.
I'm glad you guys have liked the water drops.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I got to find another place for this color. Oh, that could be good. And
which one? Okay, you're going to the top or the bottom?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where I got to put this.
RoboCam's like, where am I going?
I think I'll put it right there.
Okay.
I'm just working.
I know.
You will find on these abstracts that at some point you are jumping around the canvas, and that's just because you are making sure you have balance and you're not touching two colors that are too similar together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, looking here now, I may have to change up my composition a bit because I'm thinking it's not as strong as it could be. And it may get changed. What do you think of that? That's how that is. That's how that is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm going to wipe off my brush. Pull out this quin. Maybe a little of this.
Ooh,
Come right here. Right there. Look at that.
All right,
Pink. I've gone off. I've switched plans.
Okay. Did you randomly pick these colors, or were there a reason to it?
They are my favorite colors in my palette.
So these all are harmonious color palette that you just sort of liked?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you painted the edge of this painting, would you use black? Or could you use black?
I wouldn't on this, but you could.
You could, if that was your
You
thing?
totally could. Or you could paint. I would be tempted to. I think black would be a hard edge. Because these stretchers are so thin, I'd be tempted to frame it. If it were heavy stretchers, I would have wrapped this. Honestly, if I were to do it, I would wrap the colors that are there around the edge.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I wouldn't just do black. It's not that it's not okay. Of course it's totally okay. But you asked what I would do.
Right.
So I'm just trying to answer you honestly, like what my little decision here would be. And my decision is always to wrap the design as I have it around the edge.
I kind of like, I know what Alan means. I kind of like to see the finished edge of a black paint, when they paint the outside edge black. I wonder if that's more of a male thing. Like
I don't know. We'd have to get a study funded. I'm mixing a purple here.
We could just poll.
We can just pull.
We could ask.
We have hundreds of people whose opinions we can ask.
Yeah, we could just ask our community.
We totally could.
And see
Purple here.
if it's like. Be interesting to know.
Just so funny.
If you're the first non-scientific study into people's preferences of
No,
art
that would
finishing.
not be the first non-scientific. I think there's a lot
Nothing
of
but-
non-scientifics. I watched last week tonight, and now feel there's many non-scientific studies that I'm subjected to.
This is true.
John Oliver, I'm a big Jon Stewart fan, and so went into a big show hole of mourning when he retired.
Yeah.
And also just had no idea what was happening in the world anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was my entire portal to world news. And because it's the only one that doesn't leave me upset and angry and freaked out all the time. So he went away, and then I was like, what am I going to do? And luckily I found Philip DeFranco. And so I'm not safe for work, guys. Not safe for work at all. In fact, apparently it's not safe for YouTube because it keeps getting unmonetized. Things that happen to you on the way. I'm just pulling some more Quinn into this, and I'm going to come put some this right here.
My mom thinks I'm advertiser friendly.
That's right. YouTube thinks I'm advertiser friendly. Ha ha ha.
Please don't take it away.
For whatever that
Please don't take it
means.
away, YouTube. Please don't take it away.
We'll have to take a poll sometime of what ads you all have to see when you watch my... that's actually something we should ask. What ad do you have to see before the video to determine is it tracking you or is it tracking me? Who's it stalking? Because it's stalking one of us. I feel stalked by my ads.
I don't even think we're supposed to acknowledge the algorithm. It's like
There is no algorithm?
I think that's how it's supposed to work. It's just supposed to be like...
Don't acknowledge the algorithm.
That's right.
Under any circumstances. Now, I could put a dark purple here, but I'm inclined to feel I don't have enough yellow on my canvas. So I'm going to rinse out my brush. I may have to get a whole nother brush because I have purple. I'm going to get a number 4 bright. I just don't feel like I'm going to get enough of the purple out for it not to gray out.
Yeah.
And I want my colors to be bright. That's a trick you can do. If you're finding your colors are graying a lot, you may want to either rinse cleanly between your purples and yellows or have more brushes.
Oh, there's another thing you could do. You can hit the subscribe button.
Yes, that will keep your colors from getting muddy. It's a lesser known technique. If you don't want your colors to be muddy, sorry if I'm pitchy today, guys.
But yeah, seriously, guys, hit that like, comment, subscribe button. Come share with us.
I've been getting like a lot of criticism for the tone of my voice, and so now I'm feeling like...
You're insincere. Were we insincere when we ask you to subscribe? Because we sincerely want you to subscribe. Sincerely. We don't ask enough, and we're bad at it. But
and we'd like your subscription. Plus, it tells you when we're online
Yeah,
or
you
when
can
we
push
make a
that
new
little
video.
button.
We got some stuff you don't want to miss.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you'd like to paint and have fun and laugh, if you're for laughter and painting and joy, you'll definitely want to participate in this.
Yep.
Definitely.
So how much white space
I'm going to put the yellow right there, too.
So Ian was asking how much white space should you have, or would you fill it all in with color?
All of it.
All of it.
I would fill all of it. But you know what, Ian? I think, and I'm sure you think this too, unless is this Ian Garland or other Ian?
It is other Ian. It is Star Wars Ian.
Star Wars Ian.
From England.
Yeah, that's what we call you around the house, Ian. Just so you know,
Ian
deal with
Jackson.
that. We call you Star Wars Ian. I think that it is acceptable for you to experiment with what's happening in your art. Because again, and I can't say this strongly enough, this isn't art. This isn't heart surgery. So you have some freedom to try something and have it go jacking completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You just do, right? Like you're not going to pay an ultimate price for, there's gesso. And you can paint something and be like, I hate it. And I'll tell you a little secret. I don't care if every friend you have loves it. There are paintings you will hate, and it's okay for you to gesso over them. It's okay for you to send them on their way. Mm-hmm. It is okay to gesso over good art.
Now,
it's totally okay.
There's a story request, which I will allow you to tell at the end of this.
Uh-oh.
So Marion would like to know, just curious, how did you two meet?
How you and I met?
Yeah. So I'll let you tell, but not now.
Boy.
You have to wait until you have to finish
that.
it.
I will tell you at the end, because that is such a dorky story.
You have to wait.
Just the dorkiness of this story.
But I'm
making an orange trying to swallow up to the dorkiness of the story I'm about to have to tell. I add a little white. Oh, the story is so dorky.
It's awesome. All right, so
I think when I pull across here, I'm going to get way more magenta, and I might put pink right there. I'm almost to the place where I have to tell that embarrassing story, and John isn't going to let me forget.
now, Heba, I believe,
Heba. Hi,
wants to know
Heba. How are you doing today?
if you can use glazing medium on student-grade paints.
Yeah. So all the acrylic products should work with each other fairly functionally. Now, there's going to be some surprise moments when it gums or it does some weird chemistry thing, because at the end of the day, this is chemistry. You don't realize there's anti-foaming agents in your paint. There's polymer binding agents in your paint. There's some crazy... The hardest paint color to make is phthalo blue. There's a lot of stuff in phthalo blue. So obviously, sometimes as you're mixing brands, there can be a surprise moment. Nothing that explodes that I've ever heard of. Right? But mostly acrylic paints should be, regardless of the cost of them, interchangeably workable together.
Yes.
They should. You may, again, run into something that's a surprise. Where you're like, that didn't work. But that's not the typical.
Yeah, but when you're using
I'm
with
just adding
quality
white to this to give it some drama. And I'm trying to avoid that purple there. So what's nice about the glazing medium over the retarder, and I love the retarder. John knows I love the retarder. Is that I can even pick up a glob of it and just put it on my canvas to blend out, which you could not do with retarder. And should not do, because it can break down your paint. Pure retarder should almost never dry. So you can see it needs the acrylic paint to find space with which it would dry.
Yeah.
These last two are going to be pink. What do you guys think of that? That's what's happening there. Chin, chin, chin.
Which one are you doing, the top one or the bottom one?
I'm going to go here. Is that the most inconvenient one I could have gone to?
Nope, I was already there.
Oh, cool.
Just center it up a little
But
bit.
again, you can make this very masculine. You could do burnt sienna, yellow ochre, red, some yellow, black, blue. You know, you can do any of the colors you want.
Yeah, everyone saw this. Eugenia was like, "This is such a good question." So because I asked Cinnamon about doing this before too, and she was like, "I don't think anyone will want to see that."
What?
So Eugenia was just asking, "Have you ever done a mandala tutorial?"
I have not.
Would you consider it?
Yes. Yeah, I would.
I like them.
I would.
Like
I think they're beautiful. I will do one. That's art math. We'll figure out a way to deliver it in
That's a big
a way
thing.
that is not long.
I'll do some research on that. See what we can, maybe we can come up with some neat ideas there.
No, I like those. I think they're beautiful.
I think they're so cool.
All right, little bright pink right here. And then I think we're done and I have to answer that question. How
Ooh,
John and I met.
Robin says she has a couple of them tattoos. Mandala tattoos.
Yeah, some tattoo artists are big ba-bomb diggity deals as artists. And their canvas moves and screams. Mine does not. So there we go.
Ooh.
Geometric abstract.
And it kind of looks like the picture.
And you can do this big, and you can do this small, and you can do this with color. Yeah, you can put the picture there. I don't need my shoulder. It's not a...
No, I was just moving. It's been there all along.
It's not the shoulder. This isn't what brings all the people to the yard. By any means, it's not all this. And no.
Oh.
No, it's just the art, I think.
I love you.
I think
so.
And then sometimes they're like, I hate your hat and your aprons and your...
We didn't ask anyone what they thought about your hat, did we? I like your hats.
No, I don't. I'm still wearing them. I just like them.
Mm-hmm.
I just like them. I don't need to wear them if that was a worry. I don't have a situation where I have to wear the hat. I just, if you've known me a very long time, you know I'm a clown. Like, literally, like, I was actually a clown in art school to pay for art school, like, with grease paint. Balloon animals. I have a thing happening.
That's a story. Tell them. You can tell them.
Okay,
You tell them our story.
Our story?
You can tell them our story, and then we're going to have to go.
You have to tell some of the story.
I'll tell with you, but after this, we're going to have to go.
There's going to be this click off right here in the analytics. All right, but here's the deal.
Okay.
So in my misspent youth, which is not recorded or on social media, thank goodness, I went out a lot. Mm-hmm. And I very much like going dancing, and I like doing stuff. And a good friend of mine who was an artist, performer, and musician was
He's a musician, yeah.
knew that I like D&D and comic books and
Now on the
video
other
games.
side, on the other side of the equation, said musician was also my friend because I was a video game developer entrepreneur, and he was an electronic music guy, and so he was making some electronic music stuff for me, and we were working on some game idea stuff. So it was kind of that's how our two worlds touched to
Right.
start. So that's where our background was.
So, and for those of you that know music, like he was in the circuit, like with the Thrill Kill Cult, and
He had crazy awesome stuff. He
yeah,
was real
it was.
techno.
I won't even tell you the name. It's so not safe for work and so upright. I'm not even gonna tell you what the band was.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's a very good artist. So he's like, listen, there's this LARP. For those of you who don't know, that's a live action role playing game. And it was at this college university, and it was about vampires and werewolves. And he was like, do you want to go? And I hadn't heard of that particular LARP before. John, would you like to share the LARP?
So yeah,
hide
this
the
was
dorkiness of that.
So this was back in 94, 95 -ish.
Just say the name of the LARP.
So originally Vampire the Masquerade was being played in downtown Houston, and we were playing Werewolf, which was another variation
But
on
there
it.
were vampires.
But there were vampires. And basically the big deal is Houston had this huge vampire game going on at Rice University, but they didn't want
How many
werewolves.
people? Tell me how many
Oh,
people.
there were hundreds of people that
Yeah,
were there.
it was a big game.
Massive. And then
This one wasn't that small either.
yeah, so I went up to the Kingwood College and said, Kingwood Community College, and was like, hey, I have this idea. I want to throw this party. I want to throw this LARP thing here. And the drama department got behind it, and they were like, yeah, that's cool.
you got to write it. It's a real thing because you've
So-
got to. People bring their character ideas, and you've got to
Yeah.
write them in, and
So-
you got to propel the story for it. Anyway, so I go and
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm
fast
taking.
forward.
I'm in photography at the time.
Yep.
In college. And so I've got my Yashica 2-inch camera on my neck, and I've decided I'll be a reporter in the game and be human. And what was he was like some clan called Tremere. That doesn't
Oh,
make
yeah.
any sense to you. Anyways, so there's different clans, there's different things, and we're playing, and it's fun. And I start going, and it
It's
kind of
live
gives
acting,
me a
yeah.
light night,
Mhm.
which I needed a light night.
Yep.
And one night we were at Denny's, as you do. If you don't know, if you've never been, where you always end up at the end of the Society for Creative Anachronism or D&D game or a
Live
video
action
game
role-playing.
tournament or a LARP is at Denny's. That is the inevitable conclusion of any of these activities. And so we're all at Denny's en masse, eating or drinking coffee and talking. And I'm at this table. And I mean, no offense, sweetheart, but it was kind of like a ridiculous conversation.
Oh, there's so
and
many
I was
ridiculous.
looking at my friend Tig going,
She was just looking to an escape. She was doing anything to let me out
I'm
of here,
making
please.
Tig is hitting on some girl, and I'm like giving him the face like, I gotta go. I can't wingman no more.
And
I
so-
gotta go.
It was clear she was wanting to leave, and so I'm like, what? Are we not entertaining you?
And I was like, no, thank you for noticing.
And then we started talking about anime.
And then he asked me out, and I was like, yeah, I'll go out with you.
Actually, what I found funny is you offered me your number first.
I did.
You did. You said,
Oh,
"Well, do you want
okay.
my number?"
I offered him my number
And-
first.
and I
I'm
was
a
like-
forward girl. I don't know what to say.
Well, we ended up chatting for a while there. It was funny because we ended up
Yeah,
chatting
but
for
you
about
have to tell him the behind the scenes of what you said to your friend before you met me.
But I thought you were the prettiest girl I had seen.
That's a good closing line, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was a good share. Good things to know before you get married.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun. And so we found out we have a lot in common.
Yes.
And I was dating pretty actively at the time, but I found that after I was dating John, I was pretty much kind of like the Grim Reaper in my dating life. I was like cutting them left and right. And pretty soon, it was just John.
Well, we have waxed on enough. I think we'll tell more
You know
stories
now
next
you know
time.
our origin story.
We did
Our dorky,
origin
dorky
story.
origin
We have to do it.
story.
We have to do a draw my life origin story scene.
No, that's all redacted. I have kids. I have
We
to
just-
redact
there'll be-
huge sections
there'll be
about
parts-
black bar,
Yeah.
terrible life decisions. Thank goodness there were no cameras. Oh, more bad life decisions.
That's okay.
You guys have a beautiful, beautiful day. We love you. We appreciate your creativity. We hope you're well. We hope you're healed. We hope you're safe and creative. And that you have every right to paint. Nobody has the right to take away from you. And bing, you're all artists.
Yes. Love you guys.
See you at the Easel really soon.
Somewhere. Bye bye.
I'm just like...